In today's video, I'm going to be turning Trevor Zegras into the greatest player of all time using this wheel. So we're going to be giving Trevor Zegras 2 abilities from this wheel to help him out on becoming the GOAT. Alright, let's spin it. What are we going to land on here? We have Connor McDavid's speed as our first attribute. We're off to a great start here. Alright, let's go round 2. We have Connor Bedard's toe drag release. We gave Trevor Zegras Connor McDavid's speed and Connor Bedard's toe drag release. Is this enough for him to become the GOAT? I don't know, but good news is we're going to find out. After giving Trevor Zegras his 2 new abilities, he's now a 91 overall. The Anaheim Ducks are surprisingly good at hockey. Cover boy Trevor Zegras had 48 goals and 76 points. We would get bounced in the first round by the Edmonton Oilers. Gone. See ya. Just like a father going to the store for some milk. Gone but never forgotten. And the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Finals. Have no idea how that happened. Austin Matthews wins the Conn Smythe. Zegras is still a 91 overall. The Anaheim Ducks make the playoffs for a second year in a row, this time finishing 4th in the Pacific. Zegras had pretty much the same season as last season, 41 goals and 76 points. Shout out Ovi, still raw dogging at 38 years old. Somehow we actually made it all the way to the conference finals, but we lost to Vegas in 6 games. And of course they went on to win the Stanley Cup. Trevor Zegras had a good playoff run, scoring 10 goals and 15 points in 19 games. Shout out Ovi winning the Hart, Art Ross, Maurice Richard, and Ted Lindsay all in the same season at age 38. As we head into year 3, Trevor Zegras is still a 91 overall. Somehow he hasn't moved up 1 overall in 3 seasons. Hey, I don't make up the rules, I don't program the system, I just simulate. Maybe giving Trevor Zegras the captaincy will help him move up a couple overalls and have an absolute monster year. The Anaheim Ducks are back to being absolute trash at hockey. Trevor Zegras would actually have a great year. He had 47 goals and 82 points. A bit of a down year for the NHL as only 2 players cracked 100 points. The Dallas Stars would win the Stanley Cup, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs in 6 games. For a 3rd year in a row, 1 player dominates all the individual awards. This time it's Nikita Kucherov. Trevor Zegras is now a 92 overall. I knew me giving him the captaincy had some good luck to it. Anaheim would end up finishing 2nd in the Pacific. Trevor Zegras would put up 44 goals and 80 points. Mitch Marner would lead the league in points with 111. But of course, we would get swept in the first round of the Seattle Kraken. The latest expansion team swept us. Do you know how absolutely sad that is? My god, in every simulation lately, Colorado is just absolutely dominating. Nathan MacKinnon will pick up the Conn Smythe. As we head into year number 5, wait, are we in year 5? Yes, we're in year 5. Trevor Zegras is a 92 overall. Anaheim is surprisingly still good at hockey. Trevor Zegras would score 51 goals and 80 points in 77 games. And of course, Connor Bedard would have to one-up Trevor Zegras with 55 goals and 106 points. Alright, Bedsy, we get it. Toe drag release. And somehow for a 2nd year in a row, we're matched up with the Seattle Kraken in the very first round. Here's to not getting swept for a 2nd year in a row. Well, the good news is we did not get swept, but we did lose in 6 games. The New York Islanders would end up going on to win the Stanley Cup, beating the Dallas Stars in 5 games. Matt Barzal's taking home the Conn Smythe. Trevor Zegras is still a 92 overall. Well, it was only a matter of time before the Anaheim Ducks missed the playoffs yet again. Despite missing the playoffs, Zegras would actually have a great year. He scored 52 goals and 88 points. Shout out the Ottawa Senators for winning the Stanley Cup. Thomas Chabot takes home the Conn Smythe. Trevor Zegras would re-sign in the offseason for $16.5 million. He is back for another 6 years. And now he's a 93 overall. The Anaheim Ducks would miss the playoffs for another year. They would finish 7th in the Pacific. Zegras scored 57 goals and 91 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs would win the Stanley Cup. The Conn Smythe would go to Austin Matthews. Trevor Zegras is still a 93 overall. Anaheim would actually make the playoffs. They finished 3rd in the Pacific. Trevor Zegras had 47 goals and 76 points in 81 games. But yet again, he was shown up by Connor Bedard, scoring 58 goals and 105 points. But yet again, we lost in the first round, this time to the LA Kings. The Chicago Blackhawks would go on to win the Stanley Cup. And your Conn Smythe winner is Kotkaniemi? What? Trevor Zegras is still a 92 overall. The Anaheim Ducks would actually have a great year. They had 48 wins, finished second in the Pacific. Trevor Zegras would have the best season of his career, scoring 68 goals and 105 points. Jack Eichel would end up having more points, but nobody had more goals than Trevor Zegras. We would end up making it to the conference finals, but we lost to Nashville in 6 games. But Ottawa would end up beating the Predators in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Zegras had 14 points in 17 games in the playoffs, 9 goals. Shout out Trevor Zegras winning the Lady Byng. And Trevor Zegras takes home the Maurice Richard with 68 goals. Trevor Zegras is now a 93 overall. The Anaheim Ducks would finish 3rd in the Pacific, making the playoffs. Thank God. Trevor Zegras would crack 100 points for his 2nd year in a row, but that was overshadowed by Austin Matthews with 56 goals and 114 points. And that was overshadowed by Connor McDavid scoring 59 goals. So Zegras did have the 2nd most goals in the entire league. And we would end up losing in the first round to the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. And Philadelphia would win the Stanley Cup, beating the Chicago Blackhawks in 6 games. Some Semin guy won the Conn Smythe for the Philadelphia Flyers. I wonder if it was Alexander Semin. Does anybody remember him? That dude was goated back in the day. Somehow Connor Bedard takes home his 2nd straight Selke trophy. But he's just a defensive wizard. Trevor Zegras is still a 93 overall. And just like that, the Anaheim Ducks missed the playoffs. Trevor Zegras had 48 goals and 95 points. Timo Meier had 102 points. The Boston Bruins would end up winning the Stanley Cup, beating the San Jose Sharks in 7 games. Shout out Shane Wright, winning the Hart Trophy. Trevor Zegras is still a 93 overall. The Anaheim Ducks would have 48 wins and they would finish 3rd in the Pacific, which means they are back in the playoffs. Trevor Zegras would have 51 goals and 96 points. And the Seattle Kraken win the Stanley Cup. Wait a minute, they swept Tampa in the Stanley Cup Finals? Trevor Zegras is now a 90 overall. The Anaheim Ducks would finish 3rd in the Pacific. Trevor Zegras would only have 32 goals, but he would have 83 points in 82 games. We would end up losing to the Seattle Kraken in the 2nd round, and the Minnesota Wild would win the Stanley Cup. Well, it looks like Trevor Zegras is declining as he dropped down to an 87 overall. He's only 34 years of age, but hey, maybe he wants to retire early. The Anaheim Ducks would just squeak into the playoffs. Trevor Zegras would actually have a good year, scoring 48 goals and 80 points in only 74 games. He's back! Somehow, someway, we made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Honestly, I have no idea how we did it. We are up against the Buffalo Sabres. Will Trevor Zegras win the Stanley Cup for the first time in his career? God, I hope so. And Trevor Zegras will capture his first Stanley Cup. It took a long ass while, but we're finally here. Finally able to celebrate a Stanley Cup victory. Your Conn Smythe winner is Trevor Zegras. Look at that face scan. My God.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Wait, what? How is this guy the captain? Alright, Jamie Drysdale, lifting the Stanley Cup. I swear like 7 years ago I thought I made Zegras the captain. And here he is, the man of the hour, the man of the year, the man of the NHL 23 cover, Trevor Zegras lifting the Stanley Cup. And all the little girls are wetting their pants. Oh wait, pause.
What?
After winning the Stanley Cup, Trevor Zegras is an 87 overall. The Anaheim Ducks were an absolute wagon this year. They finished 1st in the Pacific. Trevor Zegras would have 47 goals and 74 points in 82 games. Despite finishing 1st in our division, somehow we still got swept in the very first round to the Vancouver Canucks. The Buffalo Sabres would get their revenge, and they would win the Stanley Cup. And just like that, after 16 seasons in the NHL, in the regular season he would put up 765 goals, 591 assists for 1,356 points. In the playoffs, he had 59 goals, 44 assists for 103 points in 106 games. Not a bad stat line if I do say so myself. He's only 36 years old. I feel like he has a couple more years left in him. Oh well, maybe he wants to go retire and become a model. Who knows, maybe he'll rizz up the younger crowd. He would finish as the all-time points leader, games played leader, and goals leader for the Anaheim Ducks. For the NHL, I don't believe he finished top 5 for anything. No, he did not. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a single upload. And remember, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.